Yeah, getting ready for the interview.
Feeling the pressure, everyone's watching.
Yeah. Maybe I should wear a cap.
Kan die ook dicht blijven, deze?
Ja. Nice, hè?
When people think of fast-paced motorsports that have money thrown at them, people naturally think of Formula One, MotoGP, but actually nestled in that same category, and maybe the most intense of them all, is MXGP. It's undoubtedly the most physically demanding sport in the world, and also these are riders that are racing on back-to-back weekends in different countries and different continents.
MXGP is one of the most exciting series in the world currently for motorsport. Anything can happen, any time of day. These guys are putting in the work. It's a full-time job.
If you haven't done the work, if you haven't done the preparation, if you haven't sacrificed everything else to be ready for that war on Sunday afternoon, it will show up and you will regret it.
MXGP is a global encapsulation of motocross, really. A frankly ridiculous sport that blends extremes of skill, bravery, fitness, judgment, and, let's be honest, wanton delusion.
I'm Jeremy Siever, I'm from Switzerland and I ride for Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP.
He's a guy, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, that's really doubled down on getting the job done and being dedicated and focused to battling the most competitive athletes in the class.
And finally, Jeremy Siever rounds out the final turn. He wins for the first time in MXGP.
Yeah, I'm on the podium and I'm quite frustrated, but I have to be happy. I won my first race, made a good gap, and I'm on a good position right now.
Jeremy is a rider who has obviously never missed a Grand Prix in his professional career. That total sits at 128 heading into 2021. But also when he started that career, way back in 2014, he was attending school on a full-time basis at the time.
You know, I had no idea where does my career bring me, because I was still, you know, the little guy coming from Switzerland, not much motorsport around. I was doing good, not super wow, but I was good, you know, so I never knew do I manage it complete to the top or not, so it was always important for me to do school.
Star Energy Suzuki Europe, Jeremy Siever will take his first race win of the year.
Could make many passes in the first 2-3 laps, and then yeah, I won the race and I'm so happy about that.
Not only was he trying to break into the scene and prove himself to these team owners, he was also trying to achieve grades and deliver on that front as well.
Yeah, it was one of the toughest time of my life, because I had 2 times 100%, and yeah, I was ill a lot and these kind of things, because my body was just empty, you know, most of the times. But afterwards, I think I'm glad I did it, and yeah, it worked out in both ways actually in the end, so that's perfect.
The fact that he's started every Grand Prix of his career and hasn't missed a round to date is a phenomenal commodity. I think it's something worthwhile that manufacturers maybe don't rate as much as the potency to win events or that kind of outright speed that we see in Jeremy Siever's rivals, but his championship finishes, you know, bear testament to his consistency.
His effort level is really what seems to make the difference for me. I don't believe that there's anyone in this class that is trying harder to go faster than Jeremy Siever. And you can see the mistakes being made. You can see many times that he's riding over his head a bit. He's a little bit out of control. but I think he's come to the conclusion that that's what it takes to ride with the likes of Geiser and Hurlings and Cairoli, then he's willing to do it. And I believe if he can stay healthy, if he can continue to improve and find this pace becoming more comfortable, that's going to be a very dangerous situation for the rest of the field.
We can see, we can feel that he is growing, he is stronger himself, he is stronger mentally. Every year he is more confident and also believe that he can be in the front, he can also win GPs, and sure, everything will help him for this year and maybe year after to be world champion.
I can't get it turned on time. It's cool. Got the gun with me, you know, just in case of emergency. I mean, yeah, it's not loaded, so don't worry. All legal, all legal. Yeah, super cool. I got to show you the horn actually. This is the cool thing. Here we go.
So just on the way to Lommel, gonna go do some riding, and yeah, gonna go in air first. Turn traction off.
The pressure's always on yourself. You know what you need to do, and if you want to continue on this path and have the support that you have now, yeah, you always have to give everything, and it doesn't matter if you're on a private team or if you're on the best factory team in the paddock. You have to give everything and do what you can, otherwise, yeah, it's going to be the last year.
I think for the Yamaha team, if they truly want to be competitive and have a chance to win this MXGP crown, they have to take it seriously. We saw how potent Jeremy Seewer was last year and the steps forward he's taken. But if you look at the return of Jeffrey Hurlings, you look at the competitiveness of Romain Febvre, and Antonio Cairoli surely wants to get that 10th crown. You have the returning champion of Tim Geiser. There are so many riders that are in their way. It's still going to be a challenge.
Red Bull KTM have a dominant force in MXGP. That's fact. HRC have now risen to that level following the multiple titles that Tim Geiser has acquired, and it would seem that Yamaha are the next in line to do that, thanks to a team owner who simply won't stop. It really seems as though Louis Vosters won't let anything get in the way of him achieving his dream. Whether the team needs more manpower, more resources, or even just money thrown at the operation. It just seems as though nothing's going to stop him or stand in the way of his dream.
Yeah, sure. Without Louis, I will be not here, and yeah, Louis give everything for the rider, for the team, for me.
The fact that he decided to create his own team was a very powerful and forceful movement, and the resources and the quality and everything he's put into the setup is something I think that's made the Monster Energy Yamaha MXGP team one of the most envious in the paddock.
I'm Louis Vosters from the Netherlands, Bergijk. I'm team owner from Yamaha Monster Energy Factory MXGP team.
One of the things that I think sets him apart from everybody else is the fact that he is now focused 100% on that motocross team and becoming a world champion. To literally give up or walk away from the company that he founded to just solely focus on winning a world championship, I think you have to take this guy serious.
2019, I stopped being CEO at Wilvo, so now I full focus on motocross, on my team.
Whether it be in his personal life or his business, he has always reached the goal that he set for himself, and it seems as though motocross will be no different. He certainly won't stop until he does reach that pinnacle.
To have a team around you, you fully trust, you can rely on. It's not only a mechanic who has to do his job, it's like a full-on, it's kind of a family which has to work, you know. She make this only for you. If you want, you can share with everybody. But...
Oh, okay. No, at the moment, I keep for me.
Yeah, it's better, eh? Yeah.
Factory teams and satellite teams, it's usually a matter of resources, equipment, attitude, and staff as well. We can walk around the paddock and be impressed by hospitality units, awnings and trucks, and there's still quite a diverse collection of those kind of rigs in MXGP in 2021, even though the level of the sport is arguably higher in terms of that technical support system back in the paddock.
Calvin Vlanderen was one of those MX2 riders who achieved great things. He won GPs, he was on the podium many times. So he entered MXGP with aspirations of doing the same. Obviously he wanted to be at the front, that's what he was used to. But when it came time to move on to the 450, a lot of doors were shut. There were no options for factory rides, and truthfully, there were no options for any rides. The Gebben Van Venrooy deal came through last minute, and had it not been for that, we might not be talking about Calvin Vlanderen as a MXGP rider anymore.
My name is Calvin Vlanderen. I'm from South Africa, but I race for the Netherlands, and I race for Gebben Van Venrooy Yamaha.
I think he proved that he can be one of the leading riders in MXGP. I mean, he took his first MX2 victories in quite impressive fashion in Indonesia.
And here he is, Calvin Vlanderen, Team HRC takes the win and the overall victory here at the MXGP of Indonesia.
It's unbelievable. I mean, there's no words for it. I'm just speechless. Those last 2 laps were so long. The team was encouraging me. I just pushed, but it's incredible. I just want to say thanks to my whole team, my family, my girlfriend, and lucky that she's not here, but just everyone, thanks so much.
One thing that's been holding Calvin back has just been the attrition that's eaten away at his results in terms of putting together a consistent campaign. Injury is probably one of the biggest, or the biggest rival any rider will face when it comes to motocross and Grand Prix racing. And at the moment, Calvin is still trying to get the better of that foe.
Yeah, we're here in Eindhoven today for some physio, some rehab for the knee. It's not really rehab anymore. I'm pretty much past that phase, but it's just building the muscles up and getting it strong to be back on the bike. That's necessary at the moment. So
coming back from an injury is incredibly difficult because not only are you chasing riders that have been training and testing during your downtime, you're also trying to just get your body back to full strength on the level that it was pre-injury. So the two most important aspects of returning from injury are managing expectations so you don't get disappointed if there are struggles, and then setting attainable goals so you can continue to improve throughout the season. And hopefully by the end of the season, you're right back where you were, but it has to be a process.
Riders who come from good backgrounds have the opportunity to pay for rides, pay for deals, and accelerate their career a little bit. Obviously not everyone can do that, and in Calvin's situation, he's come across from South Africa with nothing, no family. He's really building himself as a person from zero.
My dad got a call from a German team, Bodo Schmidt, say, oh, we want Calvin to race the full season, we want him to stay here in Europe. And I was like, yeah, damn, I want to race for sure, I want to stay here. So I had the bag for 3 weeks. I lived off that the whole year. And just looking back, like where I lived like in a small passageway to the bathrooms of this workshop. But at that age, you don't know any better. You just, you have one goal, and that's to race here, and you want to make it as a MXGP World Championship racer.
The fact that Mitch Evans was bumped into HRC meant that the bosses, the likes of Marcus de Freitas, Roger Harvey, and the rest of the crew, in red, saw something in the Australian which he had proven in fleeting outings in MX2. You could argue and say that his rate of injury and accidents was on a similar level to Calvin, so who deserved the ride more? But there is something to be said for the way a rider moves in a team, the way a rider builds a team, the way a rider works with a motorcycle, develops it and creates a bit of a team ethos, and maybe HRC thought that Mitch was a better fit or a brighter prospect in terms of what he could offer in future years. Having said that, I think Calvin is an extremely capable rider. If he can stay healthy, avoid the mishaps, misfortune and keep his confidence up, then I think he's going to be proving a lot of people wrong.
It frustrated me a lot when it happened. When I heard that Mitch got signed instead of me, I was like, you know, why him? Why not me? I was like, on paper I can show the team that I'm the better rider, but anyway, at the time I was really angry, and I've put that in the past, and I've moved on, and I'm still good friends with everyone in Honda. They treated me really well, but you know, I won't forget how they finished with me. Let me put it like that.
I believe the story for Calvin Blandern is he just needs to show patience. This MXGP field is incredibly deep, and there's talent everywhere you look. So I think if you're Calvin, you continue to improve, you continue to work on your skill set, and each and every time you get the opportunity, you have to make the most of it. You have to show promise. So when it does come time for a contract, you're right at the top of the list for potential riders.
I definitely believe that if I feel comfortable on the bike and I'm in a good space, I can definitely be fighting for podium, 100%. I don't have one single doubt in my mind. And that's going to lead me to get a factory team, 100%. This knee is also stiff. And I ran, because I was not in a good mood, and I ran to shut him up. And I put it like a stopper behind the door, you know, so the door doesn't slam.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. So I ran to the door, and the door just stopped as soon as I went out, and hit my face and hit my knee like on the corner.
You know how that's called.
I went lying on the floor because of pain. And then like 2 seconds later I just started laughing because that was so stupid.
You know how that's called?
What was it called?
Karma.
For what?
Yeah, you said you were annoyed.
Yeah. And then after that I was even more mad at the dog.
Make sure you're completely within the lines here.
Yeah, Yamaha took the decision for Ben to put him here in our team. It was quite late in the season, but at the end of the season actually. But I think it's really good to have one young rider, one talented young guy with those top riders. I think this will work.
Very good.
Motocross was something I just did for fun, and you know, it was becoming more serious, you know, through the years, and yeah, to be here now is, when you look back, it's been an incredible journey.
Ben Watson is now Great Britain's hope, essentially. He's on a factory team, he's exited the MX2 class with 2 overall wins and multiple podiums.
At the end of 2020, he was undoubtedly one of the leading riders, not only in the MX2 class, but in Grand Prix overall in terms of his form and his confidence.
Ben Watson, 3rd on Sunday, 2nd on Wednesday. Your overall winner here today for the first time in his career.
Obviously the ultimate goal is to become a world champion, and that is, you know, my next step, what I have and what I, you know, really want to achieve before I stop racing a bike.
And he really fits on the 450. So what we see now, his riding and riding style, and he looking really good on the 450. Sure, he need to be still more faster, but I hope I know it's will coming.
Come on. Push. Okay. Thanks. Yep. Okay. Very good. Good results as well.
Yes, Herlings is fast, Prado is fast, Cairoli is fast, Geyser is fast. It are really top guys, but here for our riders, everything is here in place. So I think we can go for it, and everything I did in my life, I try to do for 100%. So also, this chapter in my life, I want to win and to win a title.
Like you say, yeah, I can beat anybody now. It's just a matter of consistency and bring it through 20 GPs.
The MXGP class in 2021 is so stacked with many potential winners. Louis Vosters is obviously hoping to get to the front of the pack with his 3 riders. He's got the returning Jeremy Seewer, young promising rookie Ben Watson, and then new signing 5-time GP winner Glenn Koldenoff. Koldenoff has really put himself on the map in recent years with many GP wins, many podiums, Motocross of Nations success. He's really established himself as a potential title winner in the future. He just needed that extra little edge, and that's why he's joined forces with Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP and Louis Vosters.
My name is Glenn Koldenoff. I'm riding for Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP.
Action.
When a 16-year-old Sonny Garcia started telling everyone he was going to beat the best surfers in the world, we all knew he was serious. Inspired by the legendary Hawaiian powerhouse Dane Kealoha, Sonny took his talents to backdoor, showing all of us what was possible at the sketchier right-handed brother of Pipeline. But when it came to all the best surfers in the world, just one guy stood in his way. Sean Thompson once said, "There's Pipeline before Kelly Slater and Pipeline after Kelly Slater." I think I have to agree with that one. Taking cues from Michael Ho's backside rail grab, like all things Kelly, he took it a step further, sticking his left arm in the wave and proving just how deep you can get going backside. But that was just the beginning. Sonny absolutely dominated the North Shore's Triple Crown, while Kelly claimed the world. That's until two brothers and a bunch of their friends from Kauai came to town.
The Kalahari's got its own draw. It's vast and it's forever. You've just got to get into those sand dunes on your own, and there you're going to find a lot of solitude. It can seem like a place of massive emptiness, but you suddenly find 5, 6 different animal tracks right there. There's this huge amount of life, and when I'm on a filming project, I really like to try and live like the animals do so that I can experience the hardships that they're going through. I want to see wildlife in a totally different context, and that's really, I suppose, what draws me to the Kalahari. It's the vastness and the openness. I really enjoy being able to see these massive distances. Those are great images and things that stick with you.
March 17th, 461 AD. St. Patrick, Ireland's patron saint, for whom St. Patrick's Day is named, dies in the Irish village of Saul. Other authorities say Patrick's death happened on this day, but more than 3 decades later, in 493 AD. 2003. President George W. Bush gives an ultimatum to Iraq's dictator Saddam Hussein and his 2 sons.
Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing.
Days later, the American-led invasion of Iraq begins, toppling Saddam's brutal regime from power. 1905. In New York, future President Franklin D. Roosevelt marries his distant cousin Eleanor. Her uncle, President Theodore Roosevelt, attends and gives his niece away. And 2005. In Washington, baseball players Rafael Palmeiro and Sammy Sosa testify before Congress that they haven't used steroids, but fellow player Mark McGwire won't tell lawmakers whether he has, and he won't name names.
I do not sit in judgment of other players, whether it deals with their sexual preference, their marital problems, or other personal habits, including whether or not they use chemical substance.
Today in History, March 17th. Mike Gracia, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,